Okay, starting here. Yes, we are online now. Okay, good afternoon, guys who follow us on YouTube. We are about starting our today's English immersion with me as a facilitator. So just to let you know a little bit about the platform. TNT is a platform of languages. This is not a regular class, so we don't have teachers here. I am not an English teacher. I work in a really different area. I am here just for leading the today's conversation, and we just try to create a real English conversation. And today we'll be talking about the impact or artificial dopamine. So I'm sure that it's going to be so interesting to know more about your point of views of my colleagues who are here with me. So let's move on to the question number one. I'm going to read this one, and I'm going to start with you, Fernanda, okay? So, Fernanda, what is dopamine, and how does it affect our brain and behavior? What do you think about it?
I don't know so much the definition, but I would say it's like a f- um or a feeling that we have that make us feel happy and also make us feel good, you know. And I think it affects our brain sometimes in a bad way because we are like with a lot of dopamine and we cannot control ourselves and our behavior. So I think that's it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I can feel you. I think that it's so difficult to give some technical things or technical descriptions. And I completely agree with you. It's something that happens in our brains, maybe something chemical that happens over there, and gives us like a shoot of happiness. I'm not sure if it can bring something negative feelings. I'm not sure, but you mentioned that. I cannot agree or disagree with that because I don't know. But thank you so much for your opinion. So let's move on to the next one. Natalia, what do you think about it?
Oh, sure. Dopamine is a pleasure hormone, but I agree with Fernanda. Dopamine's relation, feeling good, happy things like talk with friend or make exercises or read a book. Each person has a type of dopamine because each brain is different. My brain is different for your brand or Fernanda brand or Christian brain. So it's different. It's a technical topic. It's more technical topic I talk.
Thank you so much, Natalia. And for finishing our first question, Diogo, what do you think about the question number one?
I don't know what is dopamine exactly. And I'm helping my big friend in ChatGPT about this. And we have many factors, but in text, dopamine is a neurotransmitter, chemical messenger that's play a crucial role in how our brain process rewards, motivation, pleasure. That's a lot of things Natalia, Fernanda tell us. And I know exactly, but I imagine it's affect like to when I uh, have the any good experience for I to practice exercise, for example. When I have a good night's sleep, it's good. Or in some cases, we have the dopamine not so good. No, dopamine is not so good, but the thing dopamine cause it not so good. Like to watch and stay a long time scrolling your our cell phone screens, for example. Oh, I think it's about this. But yes, the technical topic because I don't know much information about this.
Thank you so much, Diogo. And yeah, I completely agree with you that it's kind of impossible to describe exactly what dopamine is, but we can paraphrase maybe with the low or little information that we have about it. But I completely agree with you guys. So let's move on to the question number two. Now, something that I wanted to mention is that it's so interesting that dopamine is part of our lives and it's been part of our lives for our body, of our brain, but we never knew that that was there. And now that we try to describe it, it's kind of tricky, but it's part of us, so it's kind of weird. So let's move on to the question number two. I'm gonna read that one, and we'll start with you, Natalia. Okay? Uh,
Okay.
how do how do social media, video games, and online shopping trigger dopamine release? I think that it's a good one.
I think so. I have many dopamine buy things in shopping mall. I love do shopping. I love shopping and has a many dopamine. My friends too. And video games for you like your social media for you like I don't like so much. Uh, and it's a pleasure. Buy things I am pleasure very very pleasure buying shopping. So that's my opinion.
Thank you so much. And what about when you check your bank account? Do you feel that the same shot of dopamine?
Yeah, yes, I like buy things like paper things or
Oh, okay.
clothes or perfume, many things, glass of water, for example, food.
Got it. Thank you so much, Natalia. And now, Fernanda, what do you think about it?
Mm. Ah, I think like it's really related to playing games, using the social media, because these activities make us feel like a feeling of gamification. I don't know. We have like rewards, good things to see that make our brain feel comfortable. So I think it's that's why the dopamine is released when we are like using the social media or playing video games.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, Fernanda. And uh, in the list, on the list that are here in the question, which one is the one who gives you more pleasure between, for example, social media, video games, or shopping? What do you think it brings you more pleasure?
For me,
Uh-huh.
okay, social media for sure.
Social media. Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Fernanda. Diogo, what do you think about it?
Yes, I agree with Fernando too. In my case, different. Not I don't like to go to the shopping, but I like it online shopping sometimes. But yeah, I don't have the habit to buff anything, you know. And thinking about social media or video games, in the past, I played video game, but last 10 years ago, I think. And now I use the social media. Normally, I use it more LinkedIn for reading articles because I don't have more patience for Instagram, for example, Facebook, because there the life is always beautiful, and I have been trying to avoid to usually a lot. But I think this good feeling when for example, we have the reels or post or sometimes to play a good a good game in video game, for example, in your cell phone. This feeling, it's when it's good, it's cause the good dopamine. And sometimes they usually a lot, for example, cell phones. It's not good for our health, but our brains, I imagine, understand difference between is good, the real, and the simulation or no real, like to fake. The feelings fake. I imagine.
Thank you so much, Diogo. In my opinion, I think that especially social media or everything that is on internet, I think it's created for that, for give dopamine, that instant dopamine, especially social media, because, for example, in the past, the reels that we know nowadays, or TikTok as well, didn't exist. But if you analyze a little bit how it was created, for example, when you if you want to post a reel on Instagram, you cannot post videos longer than 1 minute. So that's why it was created for that, because they don't want you to get bored. They want you just for have 1 minute of information and feel that shoot of dopamine. I think that it's why and how it was created in that way. And I think I'm not sure about video games. I think the same, because it's something that is not real, but you feel that you are achieving things, but in real you are not doing anything. And about shopping, I think that the dopamine is different, because you are really buying something, maybe something that is gonna come to your hand someday. Uh, so I think that is kind of different. But especially social media, in my personal opinion, brings that artificial dopamine between these three. So let's move on to the question number three. I'm gonna read the third one, and Diogo, you will be the first one, okay? So, can artificial dopamine stimulation lead to addiction? Why or why not? Or what do you think?
Yes, sure. I I guess, and I have sure. Like true when I have the addiction to kind of played cards with money, or if I don't know if you know about day trader. When I post in financial markets, and normally we lose a lot of money, for example. But in this case, normally we have the first feeling that I can gain the money. For example, I can easy money, win easy money. It's normally more common. But when we have the moment in our life, we yes, and we wanted, we wish a lot, gain anything, and normally we have a long time to lose money. For example, in this case, when we first time when we win, we have the good feeling. Oh, it's nice, we win a money. Like through the lottery, the jogo do bicho, for example, here in Brazil. It's good. Oh, good feeling. But when you have to spend a lot of money about this, it's a common problem. Or another example for like to drink a lot. It's a health problem. But the first moment when I drink, it's same persons state, oh, the life is beautiful. I don't have a problem. Oh, good, easy, normal. Okay, but our brain that's consumer the substance. I imagine I don't know the technical terms, but she like about this. It's stimulation for artificial feeling, not for good habits. Between it's very different.
Yeah, thanks so much, Diogo. And something I wanted to say about those kind of games, the Tigrinho that it's so famous here in Brazil. They first play with your brain, and they
Yeah,
give you that shoot of dopamine. make you feel that you are winning or you are earning a lot of money in your first games. But when you seriously bet some more money, that's the way that that's the time that they get your money. So yeah, I think that they use obviously this kind of artificial
Exactly.
dopamine.
Uh, GHG, it's a good example when I talked about your topic about social media. Because social
Uh,
media, how the influencers gain Tigrinhos Grammy. It's very easy.
uh,
My
uh,
son, one moment he talk, oh, that can you give me a money for I'm putting Tigrinhos game? I thought, you are crazy. You are crazy. No, I see the YouTuber. I don't remember the special person, the name, but he always gain in the Tigrinhos game. But
Oh,
Lucas, pay
yeah.
attention, please. Oh, you are very intelligent. Please, you imagine really it's possible stay rich about Tigrinho game. It's incredible. But like it is a good example about social media, you know?
go ahead, Natalia. Do you want to say something?
Yes, about Little Tiger. Uh, Nubank at the bank. If you try give money for Little Tiger, you receive a message. You sure you don't get money to pay accounts or invest back for
Oh,
your future? I like the iniciativa, like a iniciativa. I don't know iniciativa in English, but I love it. Happen Nubank do.
hmm. It's so interesting. I didn't know about it, but I'm sure that the Tigrinho is not the only kind of game that exists over there. So, and I'm not sure if other banks are taking the same initiative. But yeah, it's something really good because they warn you before investing your money in something like that. So, you can continue with the question number two if you want, Natalia, please. The
Yes,
question number
yes,
three, I mean.
yes, exists. Um, Artificial dopamine, like social media, like a TikTok. TikTok is a fast dopamine, and I reading now a book about this. The name is National Dopamine. Talk about fast dopamine like TikTok or others social medias and poor nutrient foods like big candy, like chocolate or fast foods. You has fast dopamine, so fast, and has a little time for dopamine, and you always want always for more and more and more and more artificial dopamine.
Thank you so much, Natalia. I really appreciate your contribution. And now, Fernanda, go ahead. What do you think about the question number three, about addiction, about those kind of things?
Mm. I think excessive artificial dopamine can make us feel a little bit addicted to this because it's a when we are like watching some videos in the social media, our brain say, "Oh, I need more and more of this because it makes me feel happy. I don't need to think so much." So I think it can bring us through addiction, make us addicted. That's it.
Thank you so much, Fernanda. I have a question for you because I know that you have your Instagram account where you share your work, where maybe you try to find more students. Do you think that maybe getting likes or when someone else share your story, something like that, or answer your engages? I forgot how to say that in English. when something do that have that interaction with you, do you think that creates that kind of dopamine for you?
No, not so much, but I would like to, let's say, take some time off. But I know it's important for my job. So, what I'm trying to do is like take the weekend more offline. But I think I consume a lot of content in social media, so this I need to get better. But about my the things I post, I don't think so.
It's good to know. Thank you so much, Fernanda, for sharing your experience. So let's move on to the next question. The question number 4. I'm gonna start with you, Natalia. Okay. So, why do companies design apps and games to keep people engaged using dopamine?
Yes, but a poor dopamine, a very, very poor dopamine. They give for you or for me dopamine and fast dopamine. You has a vis visuals, very visuals like alcohol, like drugs, like many things you dependence and it's more and more and more and more. And the past, uh, Fernanda has same age like me, has kids, public kids and TV, open TV, and the governo, like atitudes governamentais, uh, stop this. But now has a publics and Instagram and TikTok incentive the young consumers, very very young consumers, and so dangerous with a poor dopamine. They using poor dopamine for this.
Thank you so much, guys. I have to open the door. Just 1 minute. Diogo, please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris. Yes, I agree. I'm searching ChatGPT because I don't answer the question. and it's a good thing to think about because the companies design apps and games to improve and enjoy the the brain's dopamine reward system. Like to it's nice to screening the our cell phone, the little videos in TikTok. In this, normally we have so good. In this time, the companies enjoy this opportunity for marketing, merchandise, for example, any stimulate on the users to both direction on other sites, direction to think about any how can I say I don't know a moment please like to propagating for products or services. And this time, we normally the user come back the the same movement, the same things. Well, they are using in this moment, and I think it is the dopamine reward system. It's a good tools for the companies enjoy the dopamine and because this design apps and games for to keep people engagement.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Diogo. Something I wanted to add as well is that the way that games, for example, nowadays are created is so different if we compare with there were in the past. I remember when I was my Nintendo or my NES when I was younger, the kind of way games were kind of short. You were able to finish them in 2 3 days as a max. So after that, there were no more sense for maybe keep stay playing and playing again. But nowadays the games are kind of endless. People are over there just playing easily all of the day. I remember when I was in university, I started playing Dota 2, and I think that it's so addictive that game because every single game is different. Everything can change, and I could stay all of the night just playing the same game. I didn't get bored, so I think that it's the way that they are designing nowadays, it's incredible. And the other thing I wanted to say is that people as well, they normally as well buy kind of for example clothes for the characters, that is virtual clothes, and it's for the character of the game. It's kind of crazy, and you have no idea how expensive they are. It's really crazy. It's something I wanted to add to our conversation. Fernando, what do you think about it?
Mm, let me just read the question. Okay. Mm, okay. I think the objective is that people use these like apps to keep there the most time possible. So they give you like rewards for I don't know what you play, and you gain some gifts. I don't know, and also give more incentives for you to continue using, so you can like have more time of screen rolling. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's designed for this, for you to use the most time possible. It.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Fernanda. And I have a question that it's not here in the on the list, but I would like to know more about your insight. We are talking about dopamine in general. We know that when we eat something delicious, for example, me, who personally loves hamburgers, when I when I have a delicious hamburger, I think obviously dopamine is over here. It's in my body or in my brain. Do you think that having this kind of sensations or feelings in my case with food, it we can consider like artificial dopamine or something that it's real? What do you think about it, Diogo?
Oh, it's a interesting question. I think uh, always we get it, the same thing a lot of in many times or many moments. It's not good because you have the balance between and the our things we do in our life, I guess. But for example, I love eating hamburger. For me, I eat a dinner hamburger all days, for example. But it's impossible because for now I have 41 years old. In the past, I eat normally hamburger days. I drink Coca Cola. I love soda, Coca Cola. I love, but normal Coca Cola, no zero Coca Cola, the original. But it's impossible to drink all days. And in the moment, we have the balance between the what can it's good and what is it's good for our health. But I always said, for me, myself, for example, I want to do and to eat and everything because if I need only balance between that's good, that's not so good. And artificial dopamine is this, like we said before. It's good. You say when I go to sleep, for example, at night, I stay in my cell phone and looking reels, looking little videos. I don't have TikTok, but it's normally appear because Instagram, for example, shots in YouTube. But it's bad because I spend a lot of time that I don't have to do or to watch, to read any not interesting for my life. But because it's nice, it's the relaxed moment, and now I have been polished to be and to stay more focused in my goals. You know, like to learn English, for example. Or I like to read the articles with my industry, insurance market. Now I'm looking for articles in English, in, 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 in articles in magazines or newspapers in the Estados Unidos or UK. Know more about Brazil journals, for example. I guess that is the topics, the things. I don't have sure, but I
Mm-hmm.
imagine.
Mm-hmm. Thanks so much, Diogo. Natalia, what do you think? Do you think it's kind of fear to compare the dopamine that good food brings to us with, for example, social media? Do you think it's kind of the same dopamine or not? You're muted. I cannot hear you.
Sorry. The book that I talk about, the talking with a psychoanalyst about this topic. The doctor relation dopamine with drugs, social media dopamine, and fast food dopamine. Like, that's so interesting. It's public health, the problem public health. So yes, dopamine need detox, fast dopamine, for example, need detox. All people with without internet, for example, uh, like yeah, I'm feeling sick. I am feeling sick without internet. The other people too. So yes, it's a drug.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Natalia. Thank you so much. Fernanda, what do you think about that random question that I brought to the table?
I think when we do like related to food, I think it's something more natural. Like we eat something we like, oh, and we think, oh, it's really good. I want more. But in I think related to technology, it's a little bit more artificial. I don't know. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, I was thinking about that because at least with food, we won't be hungry at least for 2 or 3 hours. But with social media, we just have the shoot of dopamine and we are just over there. Obviously, maybe the way that it impacts our brain is the same. But well, I'm not sure. I was so interested. The way that Natalia explained it, the book was kind of interesting. Maybe we should study that deeply. Thank you guys for answering that question that is not here. So let's move on to the question number 5. So I'm gonna start with you, Natalia, okay? How does much artificial dopamine affect focus, motivation, and mood? What do you think about it?
Oh, it's affect you so much because you don't consuming contents in social media, run or make exercises. And more time you are in the bed, in the sofa, in in moments we stay so lazy, so dismotivated. When you stay many hours or minutes in same position, you have a feeling depression, and lazy and tired, So it's very, very important you make other things.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Natalia. I'm not sure if you had this experience, but at least for me, there were some times that I was kind of 30 or 40 minutes in a row, just scrolling and scrolling and just consuming, that kind of content that is, it's not helpful. But and when I finished the scrolling and I said, okay, I have to do something, I felt really, really tired. And I think my brain felt like I was working for 3 or 4 hours. I don't know why, but I think it's because of the dopamine that we give to our brains with this kind of content, in this case with social media. And as you said, for example, when I had this kind of experience, after that, I didn't want to go, for example, to the gym, or I was not in the mood of going to run or something, some exercise, because my brain felt so tired. It's really interesting to maybe study more about it. And Joe, what do you think about the question number 5?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly, we talked because the artificial dopamine normally is produced because when we are doing anything is not so good. For example, for example, drink alcohol, uh, stimulation about social medias, a lot of videos, posts, reels, anything. Junk food, for example, like to eat hamburger all days, and because this normally we have, for example, anxiety, where we can, anxiety, we can. How can I say, like Natalia said, lazy, do you know, for practice exercise, for go to the gym, for anything. I imagine that I don't have sure about this question, but I imagine because he considered this all things we said today in this immersion. I imagine I don't have sure, but imagine that
Thanks so much, Diogo, for finishing that question. Fernanda, go ahead. What do you think that question?
I think artificial dopamine reduce a lot our focus on the things because we want to do a lot of things together and also make us feel more anxious. And yeah, I think principle for that, like we feel a little bit more stressed, anxious, and don't have a lot of focus on the things we need to do.
Thanks so much, Fernanda, for bringing up your insights and your experience. So let's move on to. I'm gonna skip the sixth one. So let's move on to the question number 7. I'm gonna continue with you, Fernanda. Okay. I found this question so interesting. So the question number 7. Can controlled dopamine boost improve productivity and learning?
Yes, I think it's possible because when it's more controlled, maybe you will be more strategic when you see the content in the internet. When you watch some videos, you will try to always learn something with this, or would normally learn something. So it's more um, like objective, not just stay like 30 minutes just scrolling. So I think it's possible, like it's more controlled and strategical. I think it's possible to improve productivity and also learn something from this.
Yeah, sure. And obviously, when we, for example, when we are starting something new, imagine that you are trying to learn a new verb, and finally you achieve that. That's another way that our brains gets dopamine as well, because we have that sensation of fulfillment. But in my opinion, that dopamine is really different if we compare that with just being there scrolling. And I think that we can use that for continuing, for maybe uh, getting more engaged about that subject that we are trying to learn. Natalia, what do you think about that?
Oh, um, it's it's very complicated question. Our question it's complicated because dopamine is more person individually, but you control your time. In my case, I don't control uh, fast dopamine because part of my job is consumer content about brands in TikTok and Instagram. So I don't control other boosts. But in my free time, I try get out for social media, get out boosts for dopamine for more productivity, and I try reading books in paper book, not Kindle, not cell phone, for learning and productivity and has calm and passion like a person without fast dopamine. That's it. I don't. I try control, but I can't.
Thank you so much, Natalia. Finally, Diogo, go ahead.
Yes, imagine it now. If I appear in my account banking a little more money, for example, my my levels about dopamine is growing a little. I stay more happy and it's better for my life. I have more products. I don't have any a lot of problems. It's for my life. It's good. It's a joke, but it's about this how we can control dopamine and improve the dopamine for better our life. How it's the question we have think about this. I think.
Got it. Thank you so much, Diogo. Now let's move on to the question number. Let's see here. Let's go to the ninth one. I think that we can bring more examples, maybe that we normally use for avoiding shoots of dopamine in our daily basis. So let's read that one. I'm going to start with you, Fernando. Okay. So, what are some healthy ways to balance dopamine levels in daily life?
Mm, I think doing some exercises, physical exercise, I think it's a good way. Also try to have good night of sleep without using the cell phone like 30 minutes before going to sleep. And I think that's it. And try to reduce a little bit the use of internet, social media. These are some good ways to try to balance these dopamine levels.
Thank you so much, Fernanda. Diogo, what do you think about it? Or what kind of strategies do you normally use for having a balanced life without that high level of dopamine?
Yes, since December last year, I staged a new project because normally I try to stage in first day of the new year, and last year I started in December. With my first role, it was stopping smoking. When I have to do the little surgery, I enjoyed this moment for stopping smoking. And now I focus in go to the gym 3 times per week I don't more easily lose time in my bed looking my cell phone, but I try using this time for reading in my iPad that I haven't any apps about social media, for example, for studying English. And I like so much drink a beer, And normally, uh, when I study Wednesday, for example, we have the soccer with Corinthians, for example. Normally, I drink a beer. And this year, I promise I don't have to drink a beer at the Wednesday, but in the weekends, today, for example, today, finish here, I go to the bar with my friend. Okay, I drink a beer, but I want to reduce the high level, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Diego, for bringing up your experience and your examples. Finally, Natalie, go ahead. What do you think about it?
So, um, balance my life with, like Fernanda, make a exercise. I get out with my friends. So peace, listening podcasts like a jogo, watching movies. I love watching movies. I watching 3 movies for each weekend and evaluate in my letterbox. It's a pleasure for me. And evaluate books in good heads. So in January, I read 4 books, for example. And in last year, I read 12 books all the year. So and in this year, I am balanced my life with real dopamine, not so much artificial dopamine.
Thank you so much, guys. So in my case, I try to do some exercise as well. I try to go to the gym every single day. Another way that I used to maybe getting the levels down of the normal of dopamine is having profound conversation with my wife, talking about our goals, the things that we want to do. It's a good thing that we normally do. It's time that we spend doing together, and we can stay over there like hours and hours talking about it, and we forget about our cell phones and our social media. And that's it for today. We don't have more time for answering the other questions or the last questions, but we can leverage this time for maybe giving a short feedback about this immersion. So I'm gonna start with you, Diogo. How was the conversation for you? If you can share something maybe that you learned today.
It's good, like you always. You are a good hostess. Nice to know Natalia and Fernanda. I for me it's first time with me talk. The topic is good because I know what is dopamine, but I know profound what is this, how do you do anything. It's good for we learning about this. We have any words, any phrase that I don't know. I didn't know, but now I know. Like to how do you uh, online shopping triggers, for example, it's good distraction. And that is, I like so much to be here today.
Mhm. Thanks so much, Diogo, for being here with us. And now, Natalia, go ahead. How was the immersion for you? How do you find it? You like it or you didn't? Tell us.
I like it, this topic, because my TCC is about TikTok
Uh-huh.
and the uh, like a danos for brain and excessive consuming products in the duration. So it's very, very, very productive for me, for personal examples, but nice to meet you, Diogo and Christian. Fernanda, I meet in last conversations. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Natalia, for finishing our immersion. Fernanda, go ahead.
Oh, I really enjoyed this conversation. Really good topic. I think I have never talked about it here, so it was really good for me. Thank you so much, Christian.
Thank you, Fernanda, for being here as well. So the next Friday we'll be talking about micro learning. So if you are interested to talk or know more about it, you are all welcome. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoy it or you loved this immersion. And I wish you a wonderful weekend.